Wine has a huge functional potential. However, as we've mentioned in the introduction, you may also experience some problems. A specific version of wine will be more compatible with one application and less with another. You may need to install additional libraries such as VCC 2005 or .NET. However, if you try running more than one application in the wine environment, it may turn out that only one of them will work properly, because they'll have conflicting configuration requirements. Some applications may require you to choose some settings manually. This may be time-consuming and difficult. To make all of it simpler, a special script called Winetricks has been created. This script allows you to add new libraries quickly and easily. The script will automatically download and install the library you currently need, along with any additional component that may be required. Thanks to this, the end user doesn't have to possess in-depth knowledge about how the application works, and doesn't need to perform additional configuration manually. The goal is to make the installation of a Windows application under Linux as simple as it would be in the Windows system. That is, click on the exe file and that's it. You can find the above-mentioned script on the website listed on the slide. The script is a simple text file, which you can download to your computer and simply open. It greatly simplifies the process of wine configuration. Even if you'd like to use it only for the installation of auxiliary libraries, it makes using wine much easier. You don't have to look for the libraries or the installation files yourself. And you don't have to take any additional actions during the installation. You just run Winetricks, which installs everything automatically. Winetricks must be run in the terminal, using the command Winetricks. As the parameter of this command, you give the names of the libraries that are to be installed, separated by spaces. If you add core font to the command, basic Windows fonts will be installed too. As we mentioned earlier in the course, Windows fonts may sometimes come in handy, especially in wine. In your regular work with Linux, for example, using a text editor, you can do without Windows fonts, because there's a lot of similar fonts. However, if you run a Windows application that is compiled in such a way that it requires certain fonts, it may be necessary to install the core fonts and add them to Wine. Please note the difference, however, between installing fonts for Linux and for Wine only. These are two separate things. Even if you have previously added Windows fonts to your Linux system, you may need to install them once again in Wine, so that they'll be recognized by a Windows application you use in the system. The libraries VC-Run 2005, VC-Run 2008, and VC-Run 2010 are required for most applications written in C#. Similarly, in order to install DirectX in Wine, you need the DirectX 9. However, for Wine to be able to run DirectX, it's not enough to install this library only. Each time a program calls for the hardware 3D acceleration or sound acceleration, Wine translates it to a Linux system call, and it's executed by the kernel. Please note that if your computer isn't able to run a certain application because of its hardware limitations, for example, your video card isn't compatible with a specific DirectX version, you won't be able to open the application in Linux either. And even if you do manage to run this application, emulating required hardware components, it will run much slower than it normally does. Your computer must meet hardware requirements for a given application in order for it to run. Different applications will require a wide range of libraries. Winetricks is able to install an impressive set of components. Required libraries can be found on WineHQ website in the descriptions of supported applications. If a program requires a certain library, it will be mentioned in the description. Oftentimes, you'll also find there a specific command that you'll need to execute, so that the system will install all the components automatically. Winetricks has one additional advantage. Namely, it allows you to create instances of wine, dedicated for specific applications. Multiple applications will then, in fact, use a shared version of wine. It may happen that two applications will have conflicting requirements when it comes to the libraries or implementations, or that one application will be more compatible with a version of the library provided by the creators of wine, whereas the other will perform better using the original Windows version of the same library. Winetricks allows you to solve this problem using the so-called prefixes. A prefix is nothing more than a separate wine directory, created for a specific application. What's more, it allows you to automate the installation process. In addition to a database of Windows libraries and components, Wine also has a bundle of Windows applications that it can install automatically. For such applications, all you need to do is select one from the list and follow the instructions in order to create a prefix for the selected program, so that it doesn't interfere with other applications. Install it, configure it, and add all the components needed for it to work properly. If you install an application in this way, you shouldn't try to move it using Wine. You should do it using Winetricks. This is connected with the above-mentioned prefix. If you try to move it using Wine, the uninstallation process will fail, because Wine will not be able to locate the application since it hasn't been installed in the Wine directory. If you want to remove an application for good, you need to use the Winetricks option that allows you to remove applications. Winetricks is relatively easy to use. In a moment, we'll show you how it works and how to use it. In addition, developers put on the program's official website a couple of videos with step-by-step instructions on what you need to do if you want to install, open, and remove 3 selected products. These videos will help you learn what to expect during the installation process and how the end result should look. Unfortunately, due to VirtualBox limitations, we're not able to run any application that requires 3D acceleration.